beyond the horizon where the last light of Earth still burns. The universe was growing old. Stars were fading, planets were turning cold, and galaxies were drifting apart like lonely islands in an endless sea. Yet somewhere, far beyond the quiet part of the universe, a single ray of light from Earth continued to travel forward. It was the last light from the last sunrise our world ever had before it finally went dark. That light became a symbol. And because of it, humanity refused to die. This story is about their final journey, about hope, memory, and the meaning of home. The starship Aurora drifted silently through the deep dark. It carried the last 100,000 humans who had escaped Earth before it collapsed under endless storms and rising fire. The ship was huge and bright, made of silver metal that glowed gently in the dark. Captain Lira walked along the main observation deck. She was tall, calm, and strong. Her eyes were tired but full of purpose. Every day she stood in front of the wide glass windows to look at the fading galaxies. She whispered to herself. Beyond the horizon, there must be something left. Behind her stood Jonah, the ship's navigator. He was younger, with quick hands and a sharp mind. He believed that numbers never lied. But in the past few years, even numbers had started to break apart. Space was stretching faster than anyone could understand. "Captain," Jonah said, checking his screen, "the last light from Earth, it's near. We will cross its path in a few hours." Lira closed her eyes. That light meant everything. It meant memory. It meant home. It meant that Earth, even in death, still sent out a final message across the sky. The ship moved toward a faint golden beam drifting across the vast empty space. It was so thin that it looked like a crack in the darkness. People gathered near the windows, whispering softly. A little girl named Aurora pressed her palms against the glass. "Is that the sun?" she asked. Her mother nodded. "It's the last sunlight Earth ever made." The golden beam was not warm. It could not heat anything, it could not brighten anything, but it was beautiful. It flickered gently like a candle flame floating in a universe made of cold stone. Lira stared at it and said to the crew, "Record everything. This is our history." Jonah scanned it carefully. "Captain, the light is strange. It carries patterns. Almost like a message." At first the idea sounded impossible. Light from Earth should have been simple. But when they slowed the signal down and stretched it out, shapes appeared. Lines. Waves. Repeated bursts. "Someone encoded this," Jonah whispered. Lira nodded slowly. "And I know who." Long before Earth died, a scientist named Dr. Kale had warned humanity that the planet would not survive. No one listened at first. But he kept working, night after night, trying to create a message that could survive even after the planet was gone. He wanted the universe to remember Earth. So he encoded a message inside the sunlight. Inside the last sunrise. When Jonah finished decoding it, a soft voice echoed through the speakers. It was old, tired, but clear. "To whoever finds this, we lived. We loved. We dreamed. And we leave this last light behind so the universe will know that Earth was here." People began to cry quietly. Some closed their eyes. Some held hands. Lira stood perfectly still. This was more than a message. It was a promise. The voice continued. "If humanity still survives, follow this light. It will lead you to the one place beyond the universe where hope still burns." Jonah stared at the captain. "Beyond the universe? Is that even possible?" Lira took a deep breath. "We're going to find out." The Aurora followed the golden beam across empty space. Days became weeks, and weeks became months. The crew grew quiet. The stars grew fewer. Then something changed. The light bent. Not around a star. Not around a planet. But around something invisible, something massive. "Gravitational wave detected," Jonah said. "It's not natural." The space in front of them rippled gently like the surface of a pond touched by a finger. Aurora tugged at her mother's sleeve. "Is it a door?" And strangely, it was. A circular hole in space formed, glowing faintly with golden dust, the same dust carried by the last light of Earth. Jonah's voice shook. "This is impossible." Lira placed her hand on the control panel. No. This is what Dr. Kale wanted us to find. The gate opened wider. The golden light entered it. And the Aurora followed. On the other side was not darkness. It was a sea of shifting colors, soft blues, deep purples, warm reds moving like living waves. Space here felt alive. It hummed gently, vibrating through the ship. What is this place? Jonah whispered. A voice echoed in the chamber. Not from the ship. Not from any speaker. But from everywhere. Welcome, children of Earth. Lira froze. Who said that? Lights formed in front of the ship, shapes, figures, beings made of pure brightness. They had no bodies, yet they felt ancient. They looked like living constellations. We are the keepers of the last light, the glowing beings said. We existed before your universe was born. We guard the horizon between life and death. Lira stepped forward. Why did you call us here? The beings pulsed gently. Because your world has ended, but your story must not. The last light of Earth burns bright enough to open the path to this place. And only those who carry memory may enter. Jonah bowed his head. We remember Earth. Orin whispered, we miss it. The beings dimmed softly, as if showing sadness. Then you are worthy. To enter the new world, the keepers gave humanity a test. You must show that you remember what made Earth special, they said. Not its cities. Not its machines. But its heart. The ship's people gathered in a great circle inside the chamber. One by one, they spoke their memories. A farmer remembered the smell of rain on warm soil. A teacher remembered chalk dust on her hands and the laughter of children. A sailor remembered waves crashing against wooden decks. A musician remembered the trembling strings of a violin. A little girl remembered fireflies glowing in a dark forest. Each memory formed a small spark of light. The sparks floated into the air, swirling gently around the ship like stars. Lyra's turn came last. She closed her eyes and spoke softly. I remember waking up early to watch sunlight fall through my window. I remember thinking that as long as the sun rose, we still had hope. Her spark was the brightest of all. The keepers gathered the sparks together. The lights merged into a shining sphere, a ball of warm memory, and sank gently into the ground. A doorway appeared. Your memories have given this world shape, the keepers said. Enter, and live again. Beyond the doorway was a world that looked familiar yet new. The sky was blue but deeper, calmer. The mountains were tall but smoother. The oceans were vast but brighter. The air smelled clean. Orin took a deep breath and smiled. It feels like Earth. Lira nodded, tears in her eyes. It is Earth. Or at least, what Earth could have been. Fields formed. Trees grew. Rivers flowed. All shaped by memory, guided by hope. Humanity stepped onto the soft grass and felt, for the first time in years, the warmth of sunlight, not a dying light, but a new one. Jonah looked around in awe. We made this. Lira shook her head gently. No. Our memories did. Above them, the last light of Earth rose into the sky like a second sun. It hovered there, turning slowly, forever reminding them of the world they lost. And the world they built again. The keepers appeared one last time. You have crossed beyond the horizon, they said. You have carried the last light of Earth to a place where it can burn forever. Lira bowed her head. Will we ever see our old universe again? The light beings dimmed. No. That universe is fading. But your future is here, where memory creates life and hope shapes reality. The people looked at the new horizon, bright, warm, endless. Humanity had survived. Not through strength. Not through power. But through memory. Through light. Through love. Lira placed her hand over her heart. Earth may be gone, she said softly, but as long as we remember it, the last light will keep burning. The wind blew gently across the fields. The sun, new and young, rose higher. And beyond the horizon, where the last light of Earth still burned, humanity began again.